Hello everyone, I'm Iron Phoenix, and if I sound a little bit ill, it's because I'm a little ill. But, some of you may know me for my slightly controversial opinions when it comes to gaming. And today is no different, really. So a few things that will probably mean that a few people unsubscribe immediately. I don't like Halo very much. I find it a very shallow game, and there's not really, what I would call memorable moments in a game. So something like Half-Life. If someone says Blast Pit to you, you instantly remember, if you've played the game, you'll remember Blast Pit or On a Rail. Or Zen. These are memorable moments that you can instantly say, yep, I remember that game. I remember that element in it. And Halo doesn't really have it. It has two, as far as I'm concerned. It has the beginning bit where you're on the ship, and the ending bit where you're trying to escape from the ship. So, yeah. Another controversial opinion that I have is that I'm not really a fan of BioWare games. I find their RPGs to be very meh, really. And especially when you compare them to something like Obsidian. Obsidian RPGs are always excellent, very, very deep storyline, interesting game mechanics, that sort of thing. And BioWare just doesn't do that anymore. Certainly the Mass Effect games, yeah, they were alright, but they weren't this great masterpiece that people claimed they were, at least not as far as I was concerned. And of course my third very controversial opinion will be on No Man's Sky. This was a game that I played when it first came out, and I did a stream on it. And my opinion of it back then was, there were some issues with it, which I've since fixed. It turns out it was an issue with Windows Update. It had completely and utterly broken. And as a result, it was losing focus. But for some reason, No Man's Sky was very sensitive to that, and it would lose focus all the time. So I fixed that by disabling Windows Update. It wasn't working anyway, so until I can get around to actually fixing it properly, it can just stay disabled for all I care. But the other big issue that I had with the game was it was very grindy. It was very, you walk through this world and you're constantly picking up things in order to put into a very limited inventory, and the game wasn't very fleshed out. I went into the game very blind, so I wasn't affected by the hype. I wasn't affected by the people that wanted multiplayer and all this sorts of stuff. I wasn't really affected by that. What I saw was just a very interesting game, and of course it got base building recently, and I am a bit of a sucker for base building, I have to say. And this is my base. This is No Man's Sky. And after playing it now for I've put another 3-4 hours into it, I actually quite like it. This is my big controversial opinion on No Man's Sky, is actually it's not that bad. Go into it blind, throw away all the preconceptions you had about the game, and actually what you get, actually reasonably decent sort of space survival-ish kind of game. There's no real food mechanics in there. The food that you can grow are sort of more crops, and it's sort of a food mechanic that I quite like, or a growth mechanic that I quite like, i.e. not having a growth mechanic. Now I don't actually have crops yet. This is a very, very early thing. But, so for example, I got this. This is my multi-tool thing that I picked up somewhere, so it's a little bit of an improvement on what I did have. But just other little things that they've done with the game. So over here we've got some placeables. This is my save point. This is my, it's sort of a portable save point. And that's my ship, obviously. Somewhere around here I have a beacon. Where's my beacon gone? It's not a beacon, it's where has it gone? It should be around here somewhere. So we've got this portable save point, which you can build these save points just by sort of plopping them down using as long as you've got the materials in your inventory. You can build stuff. There's my ship. Where is my beacon? Oh, there it is. I think that's it. It looks a little bit like a plant, which is what threw me. So this beacon allows you to find things You just plop it down and then you go into the inventory or into this thing, and you can find things. So I say I want to look for a colonial outpost. It will find me a colonial outpost if there's one around. And it's found me something. There's a manufacturing facility over there, so 18 minutes away. Interesting. I think I might go over there. So, quite simply, you get into your ship. It's still got the fueling mechanics, unfortunately, that the game had. There's no real getting around it. It is, at its core, still No Man's Sky, a little bit grindy. The constant need for some quite rare things to fuel your ship to allow you to actually use your ship, use your pulse drive. But that's a little bit of a pain. There's sort of constant having to refuel everything. I don't like that the life support doesn't refuel itself over time if you're in the ship, for example, because surely the ship would have better facilities for that sort of thing. Now, this may actually be a manufacturing facility that I've visited before. I don't know. Let's have a look. So, tap E, you land, and then it kicks you out of your ship. Yeah, this is one I've been to before. So these manufacturing facilities, they give you blueprints sometimes. There's sometimes useful things around, like carbon in these little planters. There you go. A little bit more carbon. Some nanites, which are used for getting blueprints for your station. And yeah, and then you can go up to space station if you want to, which I'm going to go to now. Sell some of my bits and pieces. I don't like these hints that keep popping up. Yeah, I know I need to craft more warp cells using that. Yeah, I know how to use all that stuff. I don't need it constantly popping up. The game is a little bit too hand-holdy, but it's quite a nice break from, I guess, Hellion, which is very much not hand-holdy. So it will sort of guide you around the planet and all that sort of stuff. It kind of knows vaguely what you're looking for, and then you kind of got a minute or so to get to the station, to get to the space station. And there you can hire people. You can do stuff basically. So at the moment, I'm basically exploring planets, getting upgrades for my exosuit and all that sort of stuff. Just basically getting as much money as I possibly can. I've now got 16 slots in my exosuit. Ooh, I might get one of those. It does use... Yeah, I'll get one of them. I'll get a carrot sheet as well, and I'll just in there. Right, that's fine. So, yeah, all in all, it's not a bad game. Obviously, the review scores on Steam are not good. This was mainly because, well, actually quite a few reasons. So the game was originally thrown out there to the people a little while ago on an E3 at some point, I don't know when, but it kind of gained traction and eventually they got picked up. I can't remember if it was originally going to be a PS4 game or not, but it got picked up by Sony and they had money poured into advertising and all that sort of stuff, and that was its big downfall. Had it been released on PC only as a 20 quid game, nobody would have cared as much as they did, and it would have had some pretty positive review scores. Unfortunately, it had so much advertising that everybody knew about it, and as a result, people were expecting an awful lot more than it actually was. Now, that's not really their fault. I think, the advertising was its big downfall, ultimately. Had it not had all the advertising that it did have, it wouldn't have had such a horrendous review score. Because the people who would have bought it would have been the sorts of people who would have bought Hellion. But let's see what we've got. So we've got something that will... the Infoknife Accelerator weapon, which I don't have. I don't have that weapon at all. That one is for the Positron Ejector weapon mode. I don't have that. And I do have a photon cannon, but I can't buy it because I'm not revered enough with the people down here. Okay, well, let me just grab... I'll sell some stuff anyway. So you can make a fair amount of money from various things. Let's see what they've got. I am planning on growing Geknip because it does actually get you a fair amount of stuff, money. So I've got units up there. I'm not too well off. I would quite like a better ship, but right, I'll sell that. Sell those. I haven't found a use for them yet. That's just carbon. 50 carbon will get you that. So if I'm selling, I've got to do maths here. God, it's easier to drop it down to 10. So 10, sell 10 for 60. So sell 100. So oh yeah, if you were selling 100 of those, that'd be 670. So if you were selling 50 of them, it'd be about 300 or so. And suspension fluid, sell that for 1,000 units. It's not actually that bad, actually. Get as much carbon as you possibly can, make suspension fluid, and then sell it, and you get quite a bit from that, actually. So it does reward you for making better stuff and then selling better stuff, basically. Let's have a look at, see if there's any ships. Ooh, some ships have docked. Let's see how much some of these ships will cost me. That one looks pretty awesome. I do like the ship design in this. Let me see. Oh, we've got 3 of the same. So let's just have a look at this guy, the broker. You beef up your Gek rank by doing things for the Gek. No, let's have a look. Ooh, it's 4 million units, but it does give you 27 slots, so as well as quite a lot of additional stuff, really. That's quite interesting, actually. Yeah, so you basically start with this ship, which isn't that great, to be honest, but you can get much better ships. And I believe you can also find crash ships now as well. Haven't found any of them, but it's certainly something to look out for. But I think I'm going to end this episode here. All in all, not a bad game. I quite enjoy it. It's certainly something a little bit more relaxing for if you're not feeling great. Yeah, actually quite a fun little game. Just wander around planets and explore. There is a survival mode as well, which is a little bit more brutal, and I might stream that at some point. But for now, I'll say thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.